welcome, and thanks to all of you that are here and joining us today on this holiday week. It is the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, and wait, is today Wednesday? It is. Yes. All day long. And so really excited to have our friend back with us, Jack Alotto, CFRE with Fundraising Academy. And Jack's going to talk to us about, is CFRE right for your career? And before we dive into that conversation with our friend Jack, I, of course, want to make sure that we honor Julia Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy, for building and creating and having this idea of the nonprofit show as an episode and a platform for all of us. Julia is enjoying a day off today, but she will be back on Friday. So make sure that you join Julia on Friday. I'm Jarrett Ransom, also known as your nonprofit nerd, even though Julia tries to claim me as her own. But I am the nonprofit nerd, plenty to go around, CEO of the Raven Group. And we are so appreciative and have a lot of gratitude to our presenting sponsors, especially during this week of gratitude and thankfulness. We really want to extend even more appreciation to our sponsors. So lucky to have them in our corner. And I also like to remind you that they're not just here for us in the nonprofit show, they're truly here for the sector at large. So they exist in, around, throughout all those fun prepositions in your community. So check out these sponsors. They really are here to help you move your mission-driven goals forward. So if you haven't checked them out, I encourage you to do so. And we are thrilled because one of our presenting sponsors, Fundraising Academy, has Jack Alotto on their team. And we are so thrilled to have you back. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. It's good to see you again. And it's the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful for you, Jared. I'm thankful for the nonprofit show and all the work that you guys do to advance our profession. It's great.
Well, thank you. We always love having you on, and I like to refer to you as a fellow nerd as well. And when it comes to this profession, I would love for you to share all things CFRE. And let's just start, if you would, Jack, by just telling us, what does this acronym stand for, and how might we use it in our profession?
So CFRE stands for Certified Fundraising Executive, and it's a credential. It's a credential that you work towards, and it is pretty much the standard of excellence in our profession. There are, of course, other credentials out there, some specifically related to planned giving, which are really awesome, and some that are even like a CFRE, which is Advanced Certified Fundraising Executive, a very small number of people in that. When I first got my CFRE, you may not know this, there were about 3,000 of us.
Wow.
And now with the pandemic, a lot of people have decided now's the time to really up their game as it relates to our profession. There's about 7,000.
I didn't realize there was an advanced CFRE in it
as
well. Wow.
Yeah. And it's a 2-year program. I don't know much about it, and I don't really feel comfortable speaking to it, but it's an awesome program as well.
Wow.
So there are some out there.
So I would like to know, Jack, when did you earn your designation of our CFRE? And you mentioned that when you did, there were only about 3,000.
Yeah, and I think I'm at least a CFRE for 10 years. I'm up for recertification in April. So once you achieve the certification, you must renew it and recertify every 3 years. The good thing is you don't have to take the exam when you recertify, which is the really thing that people work on, want to pass that test.
Well, let's talk about, what are the benefits? And then we also have this word implications of earning this designation, because you had shared a little bit about this before we went live, but really the value of this designation and how it might really up-level our career. And then I'd love for us also to talk about how you've seen an increase over the last 2 years of individuals seeing this truly as a benefit.
So I think the first thing it does when you achieve any credential, whether it's CFRE or any other credential, you show a level of competence. You tell the world that I have achieved some level of competence. It also gives you credibility. Who does it give you credibility with? Your board, your coworkers, and most importantly, it gives you credibility with donors. It tells the donors that you have achieved a degree of excellence in 6 domain areas in the fundraising profession. The last one, which is just as important, is ethics and accountability. And donors want transparency. They want to see us as ethical and accountable professionals. It also shows a commitment to fundraising. People who are here today watching this show are showing a commitment to fundraising. Or if you come to one of the webinars at the Fundraising Academy or any other professional development things you do, it shows the world that you are committed to your profession. And that's what the CFRE does in particular.
It does. And I would like to know, Jack, if you happen to have this information, how many individuals do you think or know have paid for this CFRE designation perhaps on their own? Or are you seeing an uptick in value of the employer really designating these professional dollars towards their workforce to achieve this designation? Do you happen to have a
Yeah, it's funny you asked that question, Jared, because just yesterday, CFRE International published the results of a survey they did. And what they found is that 51% of CFREs, they surveyed all the CFREs in the world. And by the way, we're in most, if not all of the English-speaking countries. I've had, by the way, I've had people in my CFRE study groups from Singapore, Hong Kong, the Congo. I just last week had a conversation with CFREs in Australia. So we're all over the world. This is a designation that is recognized internationally, which is great. But this survey that CFRE sent out, they found that about 51% of current CFREs say that their employer paid part of or all of the cost of achieving their CFRE, which for me, honestly, is a disappointing number. I know it's gone up since 2018, but it's still a disappointing number to me because what do we have when we work in a development department? We have a team. And I think it's so important for those managers out there, those people who are managing other development professionals, to recognize and put some money into their professional development, especially if they go to you and say, hey, Jared, I want to be a CFRE because I want to learn more about marketing or securing a gift or relationship building, or actually any professional development thing. Put some money into your people and it will come back to you tenfold.
I think one of the things you also said, and thank you for having that number, that is perfect timing that CFRE International provided 51%. So that is real-time data, essentially. I would like to know, because I feel that, and maybe you've seen this as well, because again, you know, Jack offers these study guides, study groups to many CFRE individuals that are studying to earn and achieve this designation. And so looking at this, oftentimes there are, I'm going to pick on the women, right? But women see this as an opportunity to help them gain reentry into the workforce. So this could be, and when I use reentry, I'm really talking about, you know, moving away from a stay-at-home mother role into their career again, or maybe they were caring for an elderly parent and re-entering back into the workforce. And this designation can truly help to, I don't know, maybe advance them or keep them level where they were.
Yes, and you know, I love to tell the story of someone who was in my last study group, not the most recent one, who actually left the workforce to raise her children. And this happens quite a bit. She left the workforce, she got out of it, she worked in development. And then when she came back after having been out, I don't know, 10 years raising these children, they said to her, you know what, you've been out of this profession so long, why don't you start as a receptionist in our office, which was
Wow.
shocking to me. And
That's
so that's where she said, that's where she started. And she said, when she got her CFRE, she said, I wanted to do this because I wanted to prove to them that I'm still competent at this profession. You know, the other thing which is important, you know what I said to her? Well, maybe now's the time for you to start looking for people who will value you as part of their team. And in connection with that, you may not know this, but CFREs on average earn 17% more in salary. 17%. That is so significant. You know, the other type of person, and this happened actually maybe 4 or 5 years ago, a guy who was in my study group said to me, you know what, I went to college and I had to drop out of college because I had to take care of my dad who was dying. And, you know, things happen in our lives where things, we get interrupted. You know, we get interrupted in our education. And so he never went back and finished that degree. And he said, I really want to get this certification because not as a replacement for a college degree, but as him showing this commitment to the profession and his own advancement in knowledge and understanding of this profession we work in. And he got it in the same way the woman who dropped out of the workforce. And, you know, for me, this is why I do these study groups, because I get so much joy out of seeing this success.
Well, and the benefits, as you said, so whether someone perhaps did not finish their college career or looking to re-enter to the workforce after being away, that is a huge benefit. But that number that you shared with us, Jack, 17% of a higher salary or higher increase in pay, that in and of itself is a wonderful benefit, which takes to what are the costs?
So that's a great question. So the cost for to get certified to take the test is $875, unless you belong to one of the national organizations like the Association of Fundraising Professionals, AFP, or the Association of Healthcare Professionals. And there, I think, are like 23 or 24 professional groups that CFRE gives a discount to those members. And $875 or $700 is still pricey. And then on top of that, you have to buy some materials to study. You know, the test is 6 domains. Here's what they are: prospect research, securing the gift, relationship building, volunteer involvement, leadership and management, and as I said earlier, Jared, ethics and accountability. So you have to study each of those domains to get to a passing score. The cost to buy the materials to study that could be pretty pricey. Now, I only recommend buying some of those materials just because it's better and cheaper for people, and not buying it all, because you could spend over $3,000 in addition to the $875. So we don't want to do that.
It makes me think, you know, when I was in college, I either wanted to share a textbook with a classmate, or I certainly was the one buying the used textbooks when I could.
And actually, you can get like so one of the books I love, and I think every development professional should own, is Achieving Excellence in Fundraising, a 4th edition. Now you could buy that used, but here's a little trick that I like to tell. You know, Amazon owns audible.com, and Audible will give you a 30-day free trial on any book. So you could go and get Achieving Excellence in Fundraising via Audible and read it in 30 days. Now, for me, I have to have a copy of it. I'm an old-fashioned guy who needs a book, to read.
And
So
to highlight and to annotate and
yes,
to,
all that stuff,
also,
right,
I know some people get upset
right.
with folded pages, but yeah. Well, talk to me about the study group. You've talked about it a couple of times, or you've mentioned it a couple of times. And I did not realize, Jack, that you're also working with individuals across the world
Yeah, it's great.
on this designation. Share with us, if you would, your role in the CFRE study group and cohort and how we can learn more about that.
So, well, actually, our next study group starts January 15th.
Okay.
And what it is, it's 7 Saturdays. And each Saturday is an hour and a half. And what we review is each of the domains
Sure.
going forward. So we do an intensive review of prospect research, how to develop a prospect profile, how to find prospects, your CRM system. And then, CFRE is a relationship building model. It's a lot like cause selling in that respect. The model we use at the Fundraising Academy. Yes, I can't miss putting my plug in for cause selling. So it's a relationship building model. So the majority of the test, like 48% of the test, is about securing the gift and relationship building, which is awesome because let's face it, that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Yeah. So it runs 7 weeks. I do 2 other things. So this year I tried something really interesting. I call it my Yet group.
Okay.
And I do not talk about people failing the test. In fact, I rarely talk about people failing anything. I always say, when I was in high school, I remember I went to my mom and I said, "Hey, Mom, I failed chemistry." And she said, "You did not fail chemistry. You just haven't passed yet."
Yes.
So it's the power of yet.
I
So
love
that's my thing when people come to me and they do, and they say, "Hey, I didn't pass the test. I failed the test." I say, "You didn't fail the test. You just haven't passed it yet." So I have this group of about 19 people who haven't passed the test yet.
Yet.
And yet, it's the power of yet. And so I also do that study group. We do those on Wednesday nights, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I just love, it's so inspirational to me, Jarrett, to see the commitment, persistence that people bring to this. And, they may have not passed it yet once or twice, and they say, "But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." And I love that. And you know what I say to them? I am with you for as long as you want me there.
They are so lucky to have you on their team and in their corner, Jack, and I love the power of yet and hearing this childhood story from your mom. What a beautiful story and trajectory and cheerleading moment that we all need, because as you had mentioned the story of a previous gentleman that did not finish his college career because of a life interruption or just kind of a moment. But really looking at this designation, you can earn this or work towards earning this at any time. Is that correct? So
that's true. Yes. And something else, my study groups, they're free.
Oh,
They're
really?
free. There's no cost. In fact, you could find my study group on their website. Here is the thing. This is the thing that I do to give back to our profession. I'm fortunate as a consultant, as a trainer at National University in the Fundraising Academy. They pay me for those things. So it frees me up to do things for our profession like you guys are doing. We're in the same boat. You and Julia and me are in the same tribe.
Yes. Yes.
And as well as the Fundraising Academy and some of your sponsors like Bloomerang. We are in this tribe of advancing our profession. Here's the thing that I say. When we train people as to be better at fundraising, all boats get lifted. If they're working in homelessness, less people will be homeless because they'll be able to raise more money. If they're working in the arts, there will be more ballet and music. If they're working in social services or feeding the poor, it benefits everyone. When people come to the nonprofit show and they learn techniques that make them better at fundraising, or CFRE, we are helping a big group of people.
Yes, and thank you, because I do believe bringing more value to this is needed. These shows, these episodes are free. Your study group is free, very much, needed right now. And that's definitely something that, I hope we can, Jack, get that 51% of an employer contribution up. And I would like to ask you probably, the $1 million question: how do we do that? How do we talk to our employer? How do we talk to our boards? How do we talk to the CEO or whomever to say, this is the value of the designation. This is what I bring to you in addition to my year's experience. How might we collectively increase this 51%?
This is a great question. And I will tell you that the answer to that question is on the CFRE International website.
Okay.
They give you the tools to speak to your employer, how you're going to be able to raise more money. You're going to be able to find more prospects. You're going to be able to close more gifts. If you're about to start a capital campaign, you're going to bring credibility to those big gifts that you have to bring. Every single time I go through a study group, Jared, I learn additional things about fundraising. Every time I look at the Achieving Excellence in Fundraising book, or, CFRA publishes a study guide, which is reasonably priced. I think it's 45 or 50 bucks. Every time I look at that, every time I read something in there, I learn more about fundraising, and it makes me a better fundraiser. And then I'm able to help other people be a better fundraiser. Right. So it's, I think here's my thing, and this may sound hard, but if you go to your employer and say, I want time off to be able to go to the nonprofit show. I want to spend some time going to free webinars that the Fundraising Academy does. Or I want to study for the CFRE, and they say, no, I'm not going to give you the time. Maybe it's time to think about another employer. Right. That wants to invest in you. What are the resources we have in fundraising? We have people, we have time, and we have a budget. Put the budget into your team members, guys. If you're a manager, put some money into their professional development. And not only that, let them decide where they want to go. Maybe they want to learn more about planned gifts. Maybe they want to run capital campaigns. Maybe they want to be major gift managers or major gift officers. Put money into that. My fortunate thing is I worked in healthcare philanthropy throughout most of my career. They invested in their employees. I went to every single thing that they would pay for. Absolutely. That is so good.
We had a question come in asking about the clarification for the 51%. So Jack shared earlier that the CFRE International just did a study and found that of the CFRE designations or designees.
Yeah, designees, there you go.
Designees, that only 51% of those that earned their designation received contribution from their employer. So that means the other percent received zero support, financial support from their employer. So all out of pocket for those individuals, but 51% of those in the study for the CFRE International did receive financial support from their employer. And so that's what we want to increase. We want to have, our employers really value these opportunities like the designation for CFRE, like the cause selling that you mentioned with Fundraising Academy. That in and of itself is a phenomenal model. I love the steps, having Tony Bell with Fundraising Academy. Learning the cause selling model was really phenomenal. I have been in the sector 20 years. And as I told Tony, wish I had this 20 years ago.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I love the cause selling model. I've pretty much trained in every part of it. It's great.
Yeah. Well, this has been phenomenal. Learning about the cost, the time, the process, the not yets. having that group. I'm so thankful, Jack, that we have you in this sector. Your passion definitely shines through. Your commitment to not only the individuals, but to philanthropy as a profession really shines through. Fundraising Academy is lucky to have you, as are we, and so glad that we're here on the same team. So if you're interested in earning your designation with CFRE, or you're interested in joining Jack for this January 5th, 15th?
January 15th study group.
15th study group, reach out to Jack. It's phenomenal. He's also on LinkedIn. I love seeing your updates on LinkedIn, Jack, where you're giving your shout outs to your individuals that have gone through your study group and have in fact recently earned this designation of the CFRE Certified Fundraising Executive.
Right.
So thankful for you, Jack. Thank you for joining us today. Julia missed a great conversation, but again, she'll be back on a Friday. So make sure you join Julia. I have the day off, but looking forward to the holiday. And thanks again, a deep appreciation, gratitude, and to our presenting sponsors. Yes, thank you so much. I'm really lucky to have them on our team as well and in the sector, lifting up, as you said, all of these boats. All of these boats need to rise together. So thank you to all of our presenting sponsors that join us in these conversations each and every day. Jack, I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, and for all of
you as well.
Thank you so much for all of you that have joined us. We are so grateful that you have taken this time and see the value in these conversations just as much as the CFRE designation. I wish you all well. I hope that you all enjoy tomorrow. We will not be on. So if you are one of our raving fans and you don't know what to do with your time, I hope that if you're not with your family, that's right, at least take some time to rest and reconnect and to recharge. So we like to end every episode, and I will definitely end it as well today. Please stay well so you can continue to do well. Thanks so much, Jack. It's always nice to spend some time with you.